Amid the unprecedented wave of criticism surrounding Perfect Crown, what shocked the South Korean public most was not merely the historical controversy that had dominated headlines for weeks, but a seemingly small moment, Byeon Woo Seok's smile while apologizing. An apology that was expected to calm public outrage unexpectedly became fuel for an even bigger fire. What is really happening? Is this simply another case of South Korean netizens being overly harsh, or is Byeon Woo Seok facing the biggest image crisis of his career since rising to A-list stardom? When Perfect Crown stopped being just a drama? For years, Korean historical dramas have never been viewed as simple entertainment. They are often seen as representations of cultural identity, national pride, and historical consciousness. As a result, any production accused of distorting history can immediately provoke intense public backlash. Perfect Crown was initially expected to be a blockbuster drama, with Byeon Woo Seok portraying Grand Prince Leon, a charismatic and tragic royal figure navigating palace politics and power struggles. Yet instead of earning praise for performances or storytelling, the series quickly became the center of controversy. One of the biggest flashpoints emerged during Leon's coronation scene. In the drama, court officials shouted chants, meaning 1,000 years, instead of mance, 10,000 years. To many South Korean viewers, this was far more than a dialogue mistake. In East Asian historical tradition, chants is often associated with vassal states or subordinate rulers, whereas mance symbolizes supreme sovereignty. For critics, depicting a Joseon ruler receiving a lesser royal salutation felt like diminishing Korea's historical autonomy. The controversy escalated further when viewers scrutinized the king's ceremonial crown, which reportedly featured only 9 strands of beads. Online discussions argued that such symbolism resembled insignia associated with subordinate rulers rather than an independent monarch. Suddenly, Perfect Crown was no longer simply a television drama. It had become a national conversation about historical identity. The debate expanded beyond minor details. If the coronation scene ignited outrage, palace life scenes only intensified it. One heavily criticized sequence involved Hee-ju and the Queen Dowager sharing tea using what netizens claimed was an inexpensive Chinese tea set, accompanied by rituals perceived as rooted in Chinese tea culture rather than Korean tradition. Even a fountain pen allegedly identified as a low-cost Chinese-made product became another target of scrutiny. At first glance, these may appear to be insignificant prop issues. But in South Korea, where cultural identity disputes are especially sensitive, small details can quickly become politically and historically charged. That is why public frustration toward Perfect Crown evolved beyond disappointment and into something deeper, a sense of cultural offense. Viewers stopped asking, is this drama good or bad? Instead, they began asking, who should be held accountable? Byeon Woo Seok, the star caught in the crossfire. Ironically, Byeon Woo Seok is neither the screenwriter nor the director responsible for historical research. However, in South Korea's entertainment industry, fame often comes with public accountability, whether deserved or not. And when you are the face of a controversial project, remaining untouched by criticism becomes almost impossible. On May 19, Byeon Woo Seok attended the press conference for Netflix's new reality program New Jae Suk Camp. Many believed this would be an opportunity for him to demonstrate sincerity and begin repairing his image. The actor stated that he always strives to give his best in every moment of life and expressed regret regarding the ongoing controversy. Yet only hours later, social media erupted. The issue was not necessarily his words. It was emotion, or the perceived lack of it. Can a smile ruin an apology? Many netizens fixated on Byeon Woo Seok's facial expression during his apology. Short video clips circulated rapidly online, capturing moments in which he appeared to smile. Within the context of a public relations crisis, this was quickly interpreted as a sign of insincerity. Some defended it as a nervous or polite smile. Others described it as dismissive, superficial, or even disrespectful toward public concerns. The backlash intensified when audiences compared him to director Park Joon-hwa, who was reportedly seen tearing up while apologizing for the drama. In a crisis, emotion can sometimes matter more than words. An apology lacking visible remorse is easily perceived as performative. What the public often wants is not simply the sentence, "I'm sorry," but evidence that the person fully understands the emotional consequences of the controversy. When old scandals return, the accumulated disappointment effect. Perhaps the greatest risk for Byeon Woo Seok is that this controversy did not happen in isolation. Almost immediately, Korean netizens revisited the Incheon airport incident from 2024. At the time, his bodyguards were accused of blocking airport access, checking passengers' documents, and using flashlights to prevent filming. Although later reports attempted to clarify aspects of the situation, many netizens remained frustrated, believing the actor himself never took sufficient responsibility. In public memory, scandals rarely disappear completely. They simply remain dormant until the next controversy gives people a reason to revisit them. And when a new issue emerges, old frustrations tend to accumulate. This phenomenon is often described as a trust crisis built over time. Right now, Byeon Woo Seok is not being judged solely for perfect crown. He is being judged through the combined weight of every criticism people have associated with him. The real crisis may not be history, but image. The most revealing aspect of this situation is that Korean audiences are often willing to forgive mistakes. What they struggle to forgive is the feeling of being dismissed. If Byeon Woo Seok fails to convince viewers that he genuinely understands their disappointment, every apology afterward risks being seen as little more than damage control. A controversial drama may fade after its final episode. But public disappointment in a celebrity can linger for years. At this moment, the biggest question is no longer whether Perfect Crown distorted history. The real question is Byeon Woo Seok beginning to lose the very thing that made him a star in the first place, the public's affection?